Welcome to event number 2, the second event out of 10 featured in our season 1 of racing. It's all points based, no spoilers, but you can see the current points after event 1 already listed in our community tab, so check that out if you're interested. Let's pour out some liquor for Nick Shift and JD McPillar, who did not qualify. Now moving into today's groups, we got McQueen and Bubba together in group 1, racers number 2 and 3 in rank. For the season, it should be intense. One of the crowd favorites, Bubba Wheelhouse, always puts on a show, and of course, Lightning McQueen, who somehow gets it done time and time again. You can never really count him out, can ya? Group 2 features Ryan Laney and Rowdy Revin Bush, both of them needing to shake off the nerves and prove themselves on the track, for they did not qualify for event 1, so it's their first crack at getting some real points here. Let's see what they can do. Now, as the cars warm up, it'd be a fantastic time for you to smash that like button, hit that subscribe. It's free and doesn't cost you a penny, and we can guarantee you some high-octane performances. And now here we've got our Group 1 debut, and ladies and gentlemen, it is stacked. As you can see in their season rankings down below, all of these drivers are within the top 10 overall on the season leaderboards. For instance, Danny Swervez here at 7th on the season, 24 points, and he qualified 24th for this race. And then we've got Bubba, interestingly enough, struggled in the qualifier, barely made it in that last spot, 32nd, which is uncharacteristic. Now to the track we go. First time to have 4 cars down this track, and they are off. McQueen already out front, gets spun around a 180, giving him the death stare early. Garcia fights off Swervez's advances, and now McQueen hits the guardrail, almost goes off the track, but he spins back around, using it to his advantage, and here comes Swervez again trying to pass, but Garcia says not today, and it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 is gonna be McQueen, Garcia, Swervez, and Wheelhouse. Now let's take a look at the replay. Gorgeous 180 out of McQueen, but you can expect that out of him. We've got others battling too, as Swervez tries to get past Garcia, and then McQueen spinning back around, Garcia doing a 180, and then check this out, Swervez goes to pass Garcia, and he says, nope, not today, I want the second for this run. And if you take a look up top at the points for the group, you can see why. With only the top 2 drivers moving on, every position matters. Alright, it's time for race number 2, and McQueen still in front, but they have shifted positions just slightly. McQueen getting in front, sliding right past Garcia there. Beautiful. He always finds his way to edge to the front, and he does it marvelously. Garcia in tow. Can he catch up to McQueen? We have Swervez behind him, and Bubba Wheelhouse taking up the rear. He's not able to get past Swervez. Unfortunately, another 4th place for Bubba. Take a look at this finish line camera that we've added in. Huge shout out to the producers for making it look gorgeous for you all out there in TV land. Now to the mega jump replay. McQueen had a beautiful get to get out there in front fast and early. I'm a little worried about Bubba Wheelhouse though. That is 2 4th place finishes for him, only 2 points so far to McQueen's 10. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to make it into the next round of competition. Race 3 underway now, and you can see the cars have yet again rotated starting positions, and Bubba's up front, but can he capitalize on the opportunity? We're gonna find out as he stuffs McQueen there and stays in 2nd place. Now they're heading into the 2nd ramp, and oh my, Swervez spun around. Bubba landed on his hood. He gets spun around by McQueen, then McQueen gets spun around by Garcia, and Swervez took the win in that race. That was crazy. We've got a lot to look at in this replay. Take a look now. They go off this ramp. Bubba wants to fight. Look at this. He wants to hang in there, and he proves it by shutting down McQueen. And speaking of McQueen, Swervez does his own 180 off the ramp just like McQueen did, and then McQueen spins Bubba, and check this out. Karma hits him as Garcia spins out McQueen, who still gets in front and takes a 2nd place somehow. Focus your attention up top here. McQueen and Danny currently holding the top 2 spots with 12 and 9 points respectively. Dan Garcia has a shot to overtake Swervez, but Bubba, he needs a miracle. Is this the timeline that we see Bubba make a historic comeback? Let's find out. Bubba starting in the front position. Let's see if he can maintain this all the way through. Dan Garcia bounces off the sidewall. Bubba goes sideways a bit there, and McQueen flips over Garcia. This is exactly what Bubba needs if he wants to move on. All he has to do is take 1st right now, and he will move into 2nd place. Can he get it done? He's still ahead. Oh, but he moves over, and McQueen swipes the win. What a crushing way to lose at the very end. Take a look at this beautiful camera point of view as McQueen just gets in front, and now we can see a do-not finish out of Swervez and Garcia, which is what would have given the opportunity to Bubba Wheelhouse to move on. I am so proud of him still for how hard he fought in this one. Wow, and to see McQueen be so dirty and to flip Garcia over and ruining his chances. And again, look at this. It is that bump out of McQueen that caused him to move over. So McQueen fought dirty to the very end, but he moved on in 1st first place. I guess that's what it takes sometimes. It's all fair when it's on the track, right? Congrats to McQueen and Swervez for moving on. We got one more group coming up. Remember to subscribe if you're enjoying the content and turn the notifications on so you don't miss a thing. Now, this group is not as stacked as Group 1 when it comes to star power, but don't for a second count any of these drivers out because of it. At the end of the day, they've all got 4 wheels and every bit the same opportunity to show out when it comes to race day. Busch and Laney both did not qualify for Event 1, so this is going to be their chance to get on the board with some points, so as long as they can keep their nerves in check, of course, it'll be interesting to see how they can rally while under that kind of pressure. Up to the top we go, and race number 1 for Group 2 is underway. Here they go for the mega jump. Beautiful, as Harvey Rodcap is able to get out in front with a textbook jump there. Everybody is keeping perfectly in line. Here comes Nguyen with a mega jump, and after landing goes up on the 2 left wheels there. But what is Rodcap doing? He just drifted a little bit, and Nguyen took advantage and sniped the first place from him. Let's take a look at this replay again. Very nice first jump. Busch bounced around but was able to keep things in check, moving forward, and look at this drift. Nguyen saw him starting to go into the wall, and he's like, I'll take that first place from you, no problem, and that he did. Race number 2 now. They've rotated positions just a little bit, as they will each and every run. Right off that mega ramp they go. Rodcap with a tail whip off the guardrail, spinning in tandem with Nguyen. Down to the second ramp, Rodcap slammed into by Busch. Somehow he comes out of it alive, and Busch tries to pass on the curve there to no avail. Rodcap spun a bit, but he blocks off Busch, and he's gonna take the win from Busch. My goodness, what a fight by Busch, and he still couldn't get by Rodcap. Now check this out. Are those sparks that come off of Nguyen as he landed? And I love that they turn together like that. If their racing careers come to an end, they do pretty good at synchronized driving, so hopefully they exchange numbers after this is all said and done. Now, Ryan Laney is pulling a Bubba wheelhouse in this one. That is 2 back-to-back 4th place finishes. Not a very good position to be in when the 2 leaders are the only ones that are going to be moving on, so we'll have to see if Laney can get back in the mix here now that he's got some pole position starting power. Now have a look at this Rowdy Revenbush with the nosedive off that ramp. He's been landing so hard out of the jumps, yet somehow gets his tires back on the track in an act of sheer willpower. And whoa, Ryan Laney just missed the track entirely and tumbled away. That DNF out of Laney officially eliminates him with no chance of clawing back at this point, and Rowdy Revenbush was able to take that win. My goodness, take a look at this replay. Again, that hard landing by Busch, and I thought everything was fine coming into this second ramp, but somehow Ryan Laney just had a terrible launch and he got rocked. Yeah, with those theatrics by Laney, he's officially out. Basically, it's just traffic on the track at this point. Even though he's out, per the rule book, he must finish out the races. Now, Nguyen is tied up with Rodcap and Busch. However, he will have the pole position start, so he has a bit of an advantage on them for the final race. Let's see how things shape up and how they get things done in race number 4. Here we go. This is it. They better leave everything on the track, and Nguyen with a masterful jump there, landing with all 4 tires on the track, getting out ahead. Busch, who cuts off Rodcap, but he starts getting a little sideways. Rodcap pushes him along, spins him around backwards, but Busch somehow is still in front magically. Look at him go as he passes up Laney as well and puts the nail in the coffin for Rodcap. Let's take a look at the replay. Beautiful jump by Nguyen, who obviously understood the assignment for that run, as did Busch, who masterfully navigated his way through a rough run for the points he needed. Congrats to Nguyen and Busch, who are moving forward to round 2 of the event. Now, Group 3 has some absolute monsters as we take a look at Fast Fong, who's a Fast fan favorite around here. And just behind him, of course, we've got Cruz Ramirez, who owns the #1 spot in points on the season. Just behind her is Karsten DeLone, in here with his first shot at points on the season, and Sheldon Shifter taking up the rear at 5th on the season. He's an absolute contender and will be exciting to watch. Now, let's get to the races. Starting up front is Fast Fong and Cruz Ramirez. Into the mega ramp they go. Look at Cruz Ramirez absolutely smoke the boys off the line, landing up off the side rail and keeping it going into ramp number 2 now. Cruz putting the blocks on, not letting anyone squeeze by. That's what we expect out of our current first place contestant. They're grouped up tight into the final straight. Sheldon drifts over and Fast Fong takes advantage into the second place for that finish. Considering every point is a big deal, with only 4 races per group to be ran, every move counts. Let's take a look at the replay now. Notice the points at the top. That's how you can track the standings within each group. It's important for the drivers to take advantage of starting positions to secure some points, because that orientation will shift each run down the track. Up top we go, and it's Cruz Ramirez and Sheldon up front. Let's see how they get down the track here. Beautiful way to get out there, and she's almost gonna nosedive and flip, but somehow Cruz Ramirez keeps it in check, spinning around now, gets knocked backwards by Sheldon. Sheldon really wants this bad, you can tell, but just into the final straight. She starts to drag out a little bit, and Sheldon moves by, but Fast Fong blasts into her and knocks her into first. She takes that first back away from Sheldon. Let's take a look at this replay. What an exciting race number 2. Cruz Ramirez now in a dominant position as we expected with 10 points up on the board. The bottom 3 are all just battling it out for sloppy seconds at this point. And guys, check out the end. It looked like a relay race here. Might have been a good move by Fast Fong to keep the points close by knocking Cruz in front. That way Sheldon wasn't able to take those first place points. It's race number 3 time. We got Sheldon and Karsten up front. Here they go, and off the ramp, we got 3 exhaust pipes in the air. Sheldon was nose up for a crash landing, and now a pileup on the freeway as Sheldon drives out from under Karsten Dillon. How are they able to get to work on time here? I mean, this kind of is their work, so I guess they're on time regardless. Anyway, look at them go. Cannot get past Sheldon there. Karsten got dangerously close, but will be taken second. And then the reverse cruise and a Fast Fong taking up the 4th place finish. Take a look at the replay here. Of course, we've got to see how things shook up after that first jump. I mean, Sheldon goes under Karsten Dillon. I don't even know what to say. Literally drove right through him like he wasn't even there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, listen, Cruz has already clinched her spot for round 2, regardless of how anybody finishes. That is how well she's raced so far. Sheldon Shifter has a large lead as well, but you never know what could happen. Fong and Dillon could sneak their way in if Sheldon is to make a big mistake. So let's find out. Race 4, let's get it. Off the mega ramp they go. Karsten has a textbook landing and squeezes out in front of Fast Fong. Cruz spins backwards, but Karsten is flooring it right now. Cruz still backwards over the 2nd ramp. Sheldon is in 4th. That opens up a lot of opportunity for Karsten as he approaches the finish line, and he hits 1st place through the barrels. Sheldon in 4th. Do you know what that means? My goodness, folks. Replay now. We see 11 points apiece for Karsten Dillon and Sheldon Shifter tied at 2nd. I did not think that it was possible, but sure enough, that slim chance was taken advantage of as Karsten has now forced a head-to-head matchup. Let's see what happens as Sheldon Shifter and Karsten Dillon hit the track for a best-of-3 tiebreaker. It starts now for tiebreaker race 1. Now, this is the first tiebreaker that we've seen in this series, so it's going to be exhilarating to say the least. Sheldon in front now, Karsten in tow. Hits the drift there off the ramp. They both land a little bit up off the sidewall. Karsten is starting to pick up some speed though, and he catches up, but he bumps Sheldon from behind, and he's not able to get around him. Sheldon takes race 1 of the tiebreaker. Just as a heads up, this is a best of 3, so Sheldon being ahead makes it a must-win situation for Karsten, or he is dunskies. Karsten is out front though, in a big old jump by Karsten, and an even bigger by Sheldon right behind him. Sheldon is on the loose. Can he catch up to Karsten here? Oh, and he can't. He just gets up there close enough to sniff the exhaust pipe, but that's about it. So it is 1-1 now, moving into race 3. This is it. Whoever wins this is gonna be moving on. Nice jump from them, and Sheldon gets spun around. Pivot maneuver by Karsten. Karsten still shoving him, and with that bit of contact before the jump, he spins out. Karsten spins around, and Sheldon takes off with it. There is no catching up now, and it looks like Sheldon is gonna be moving on to round 2. So Sheldon Shifter and Cruz Ramirez, no surprise, are the 2 moving forward from this group. Cruz looks unstoppable. Next up, we got Flip Dover, who was the 4th fastest in qualifying. After that, it's Barry DePedal, who we mentioned earlier, really needing to break through and score some points since he's still sitting on 0. Conrad Camber at 8th overall. We know that he can race, and last but not least, Jonas Carvers at 12th overall, needing to grab some points in this event if he wants to break into that elusive top 10. It's time to kick off Group 4's race number 1. Up front, we got Barry DePedal and Flip Dover leading the pack. What a smooth jump there from the entire crew. That is not typical, especially with a 4-car setup. Starting to get a bit of separation now, heading down to ramp number 2, and Barry getting frisky with the guardrail, but levels it out. Heading into this final straight, look at that blocking done by Barry to keep Flip from pulling past. And where's Conrad? Conrad, hello, Earth to Conrad. You there? Where? Oh, there he is. Oh, God. I was starting to get worried. We'd have to send a track official to look for him. The replay now, let's see what happened. What a gorgeous jump once more. And then, guys, look at this. Gets off the guardrail there. They both drifted a bit, And that beautiful driving to keep flipped over from passing on the final straight really sealed the deal. Barry wants this, and he needs those points. Race 2 now underway off the mega ramp. Again, another clean one. If we're judging by just the jump alone, it appears that we have 4 seasoned vets in here. Jonas Carver's leading the way, got a little squirrely there and flipped over, lands up off the side rail. Nice tight group going into the final section. We like that. And look at Barry DePedal go as he snipes the first place right away from Carver's. Guys, look at the points up top. It's nearly the same exact spread as Group 1 at this point. We have 10 points for Barry DePedal. He is pulling a Cruz Ramirez all on his own. Barry DePedal really burying the pedal. Critical race 3 with the bottom 3 all close in points. Somebody's got to make some moves if they want to be the second car to make it onto round 2. Conrad Camber and Jonas were leading the way in this one, and that is a nosedive by Conrad. Look at this grouping staying super tight, and a spin around by Carver's there gets shoved mid-air by Conrad Camber. He's still going backwards. Can Camber get around him? He's trying to make some moves. He can't, but Barry DePedal makes a last-minute move. Let's see that one from another camera point of view here. It is gonna be close between Barry and Conrad. Let's look at it again from the overview. Okay, from here it makes a lot more sense, and the officials did confirm that Conrad did in fact have the edge in that one. Jonas Carver's with the first place was able to get up to 10 points, putting him in a good spot in terms of moving on to the next round. That was some fancy driving too, the way he was spun around like that, and he still pulled that first place. Well done, my hat's off to Jonas. Now there's only one race left, race number 4. I'd like to say it's impossible for Flipped Over or Conrad Camber to make it up there, but you know what? After what we saw in Group 3, anything's possible. So let's see what happens. Let's see who can get it done today and who's gonna move on to round 2. Off the mega ramp, things are looking pretty good. A couple nosedivers there, and Conrad flips up onto his side, but he recovers somehow. Flipped Over is way out in front, but wait, Flipped Over just flipped over. No way, and he's gonna get slammed into by Conrad there, pushes him out of the way. Conrad and Jonas go on, but Barry DePedal gets buried behind Flip. Let's go take a look at them. Where are they? There they are, and we've got Barry. Yep, both of them are getting DNFs. That is wild for the points, huh? For a race 4, they definitely gave us what we were looking for in the realm of excitement. I mean, that flip over there by Conrad was just insane. The fact that he was able to get his wheels back on the track and then flipped over, actually flipping over, I don't even know what. The points up now, we see despite winning, Conrad Camber is 1 point off from making it into round 2. He just needed Jonas Carver's to get stuck behind Flipped Over for him to walk away with it, but crazy good job by him regardless to hit the track. Richie Guns it here, who qualified 2nd overall next to McQueen. And are those paper clips painted on the rear quarter panel? Someone let me know in the comments. Of course, Cam Spinner in the frosty blue paint job. Hopefully he's got the ice cold competitive edge along with it. Now here's Chase Race-A-Lot. Hopefully makes it further into the event, or we're gonna have to call him Race a Little. Last but not least, Chris Roman, who I'd like to see go far so my fellow men out there can think about him as much as the Roman Empire. Now to the top of the double jump track we go, and race 1 is set to launch. All 4 cars revved up and ready to go, screaming off of that jump now, and it's Race-A-Lot landing on the rail. Chris Roman sideways getting shoved along. Up front we got Guns it leading the pack, followed very closely by Cam Spinner, who is flooring it to catch up. They're on the final straight now, and they're gonna swap sides. An opportunity for Cam arises. They blow through the barrels. We're gonna need to see that one again. Thankfully, we have multiple camera angles for the photo finish. Let's see what happened here, and it was tight, but Cam did impact the barrels first. What do you know? That was a fantastic come from behind moment. Remember, folks, up top we got the score posted, and the top 2 drivers are the ones who move on. With each group getting 4 races, you never know what's gonna happen until the final checkered flag. Now, moments like this are what separates the good drivers from the great ones. Cam was not afraid to take a chance and move around the block attempt by Gunsit to take that first race win. Now, with these 4-car races, there are multiple storylines in each run, so you gotta pay attention to everything, not just what's happening up front, as every position is gonna matter when it comes to points. And look at this, Race-A-Lot spins around Chris Roman, who is now going backwards and flips over. But look at this, Race-A-Lot is not done yet as he pulls right past Cam like he's sitting still, and he takes that race 2 victory. Oh, now look at this, we got Chris Roman and Richie Gunsit, who did not finish. Guys, that is a 0 for both of them in terms of points, which is why it is so important to finish the race no matter what position you're in. With 2 races completed, look at the gap between Chase Race-A-Lot, Cam Spinner, and the rest of the field now. It is starting to build, which is not good news with only 2 races races to go. The cars have rotated starting positions once again as they do each run down the track to ensure fairness, and a bumpy landing for everyone introduces chaos. Chris spun off the guardrail, Race-A-Lot popped to 180, somehow gets turned back around before jump 2. Race-A-Lot still in the lead. Things are staying interesting as Chris is in reverse following him, takes second there, and here comes Richie guns it, but where is Cam Spinner taking his sweet old time? Come on, Cam, people are waiting for you. Ah, there he is. Nice 4th place. Let's look at the replay here. Things were definitely chaotic, but somehow Chase Race-A-Lot was able to clinch his entrance into the next round. There's one more race to go for Chris or Richie to try and sneak in. They're gonna need a win with Cam finishing last or DNFing. We've seen stranger things happen, so it's definitely not out of the equation for something crazy like that to occur. Now into race 4 we go. Let's see what happens. Cam is starting in the back, which definitely helps our stragglers out. And look at that, he just hops his tail right up and over Cam. Cam is in last place right now, and over the top of Race-A-Lot is Chris Roman. Now, I'm no astronomer, but the stars seem to be lining up. Look at that collision, though. They went butt to butt, and here comes Race-A-Lot shoving Chris Roman across the line. That is exactly what was needed to happen to tie up those points. Ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly what I was talking about. You can never count anyone out. There comes Cam finally across the line, and here are the points up top. Take a look at Chris Roman with 10 points now tied up with Cam Spinner. Cam went last place in his last 2 runs down the track, and that resulted in him now having to fight for his life to move on in a group of tiebreakers. The tiebreaker will be handled in a best of 3 to decide who takes that 2nd place position to move on. We've got Cam, who started off hot with the 1st place run, but then Roman, who ended the 4-race series with a 1st place victory. Now look at how shiny these cars are, all turtle waxed up and ready for the big old tiebreaker. If you haven't hit the subscribe, now's a good time, and let's take it to this double track. A huge nosedive out of Cam, and Roman just edges forward past him. But that's not sitting right with Cam as he shoves him along and up onto the guardrail, and ahead he goes as Cam Spinner takes a heroic lead and blasts through those pillars. Tiebreaker round 1 goes to Cam Spinner. Let's see if Roman can hang in there or if Cam puts him away in tiebreaker round 2. Just ahead now is Chris, but he spins around a 180. Now he's going backwards off the 2nd jump, and Cam hit him mid-air collision. It looks like Roman's still able to maintain the lead in reverse as he blasts through. My goodness, he just like launched off of that cone. That was incredible. It doesn't get much more exciting than this as they're tied 1-1 going into the final of the tiebreaker. Chris Roman is out to an early lead, but guys, we saw in that very first race that Cam Spinner is not one to count out. He was able to claw his way right back in, and he's trying, but he got blocked there by Chris, and it looks like Roman's gonna run away with it and take the tiebreaker victory, and now he is gonna be moving on to round number 2 with Chase Race-A-Lot. Oh look, it's our Group 6 drivers. Obviously Jackson Storm looking to bounce back after his Event 1 performance, and then there's Joey Go Logano, themed after the stock car driver Joey Logano. Michael Roeder, who had the worst qualifying time of Event 1 and sitting dead last in season points, needs to pick it up. And last but not least, we got Noah Gocheck, who has checked out his opponents already and seems to think he's gonna do pretty well. We'll see about that. Now, I'm sure that you all are wondering just how well Jackson Storm is gonna do, as I am. He's kind of like the anti-hero, the anti-McQueen, if you will. So everybody wants to know what's up as he spins around. He's now doing it backwards, but here comes Joey Go Logano, and he's looking to squeeze by Storm, but he couldn't get it done. Oh, and he goes for the 2nd attempt to pass, and that time he makes it, and he puts Jackson Storm in his place, in 2nd place that is. Now let's take a look at the replay. Jackson Storm had a crazy first jump as he got spun around there, and then right here, I thought that Logano was gonna literally fly over Jackson Storm with how much height and speed that he had, and of course, when he steals away the victory, everybody's minds were probably blown just about like mine was. Back up top, they've rotated starting positions. Joey Logano up front with Noah Gocheck, and guys, the thing about these 4-car races is those jumps are wild. You never know what's gonna happen as they're all bumping each other, and look at this, Joey Logano is gunning it right now off the guardrail, trying to pass Michael Roeder since he passed him up at the start. Now they're neck and neck going towards the finish line. Who just took 2nd and who took 3rd? We are gonna have to check out the finish line camera for this one. Noah Gocheck had the outright 1st place, but these two, and it looks to me like Michael Roeder got it. The track officials They did end up giving the edge to Michael. I just heard it over the comms, but you know that call is going to be controversial no matter how you slice it. At this point, I want you to direct your attention to the top of the screen and look at this point spread. Only 3-point differential between last place and first place. When I say that it is truly anyone's game right now, it really is. We have no idea who's going to take those top 2 spots and move on to round 2. Back to the track we go. Let's get up top where race 3 is underway. Even though the point spread is close, Storm is in last, and that's no bueno considering how he's been doing lately, as he sits 25th overall on the season. Now this is a tight grouping, but it looks like we got a little bit of a breakaway. Of course, just as I say that, Rotor is sideways now, and he gets slammed into by GoCheck. It turns him straight, and he is on his way to the finish line. Jackson Storm also pulls ahead of GoCheck into second place there, and this point spread is still only 3 points between last and first. I mean, Michael Rotor with the first place there was able to really solidify himself at the front of the pack, but it's still anyone's game. It is not getting any easier for any of these competitors as they head into the 4th and final race. What do you think is going to happen? Will Jackson Storm somehow claw himself out of last place? Will Rotor defend his spot? Enough speculation, I guess, because these cars are ready to put it all on the line in race number 4, and away they go. They've got speed, and a huge jump off the mega ramp puts Jackson Storm off to an early lead. It looks like he's sick and tired of sitting 4th. About time he does something about it, huh? Off the second jump, Storm grinding the rail Tony Hawk style. Rotor just behind him gets blasted by Logano on the curve, and it sends Rotor into a speedy backwards pursuit of Jackson, but he had no chance of catching up, and that, my friends, is how the cookie crumbles today. Now, I'm no mathematician, but I do believe that puts Rotor in first place, but who else is moving on? It's gonna be Jackson Storm with 12 points. He was able to finesse his way into the next round from 4th to 2nd on that last run. We've got Eric Breakdancer in the lean, mean green hex-clad paint job. Followed just behind is Rich Mixon, aka Richard Nixon, or Mr. President in the hot pink. After that is going to be Spartan 117, Spiky Phillips. Now it says 2nd for the season ranking, but we go back to the tapes and it'll look like 22nd if you ask me. Go look for yourself. Last but not least, H.J. Hollister, who didn't even qualify for Event 1, desperately has to make something happen to bounce back here. To the track we go now with Mr. Mixon and Eric Breaker leading the charge down the mega ramp, and Breaker landed up on the side rail. Look at this. They got all jammed up in that first curve, and then a beautiful pass by Hollis over that jump, but can he catch up to the reverse bandit Richard Mixon himself? It looks close, but not gonna happen. Mixon was able to snake that first victory. To the replay we go now. Let's take a look at the first jump of the races today, and you can see Mixon off to that early lead, but going in reverse and getting shoved along, I didn't think that was gonna happen. Beautiful pass again by H.J. Hollis, and look at just how close Hollis was at taking that victory. Not bad for the racer that needs points more than most. Race 2 is underway now in a massive jump. It looks like Mixon's on his side there, goes upside down and flips completely around and back again to his wheels. Second jump is massive for all of the racers. Everybody wants this, putting the pedals to the metal for this one. And Rich Mixon with a beautiful pass on the final straight to take another victory. Let's take a look at the replay again. Ladies and gentlemen, look at the top of your screen right now. This is incredible. They all finished with the exact order that the first race concluded in. That is not going to be good for the 3rd and 4th place contestants, but for the 1st and 2nd, that's a lot of points they're starting to rack up. I still cannot believe that Rich Mixon was able to complete the barrel roll and get down the track in first place. That just blows my mind. It's race 3 now, and the drivers have swapped positions yet again. Spiky Phillips with a launch off that ramp. Talk about a sense of urgency in that driving. Down to ramp number 2, but he spins just shy, and he gets landed on, and Breaker flips completely upside down. Spiky Phillips and Rich Mixon are pushing him along now, and look at this, H.J. Hollis with the solo victory alone and out front with nobody in sight. Here comes Spiky Phillips finally to cross the line, but Mr. President, Richard Mixon, where you at, buddy? Oh no, this might be the worst. It is a DNF for Rich Mixon as well as Breaker. They are not going to make it to the end. Let's take a look at this replay here. Again, Spiky out with that lead. Let me put this into perspective for you. With that wreck happening, Eric Breaker is officially eliminated with 1 race yet to go. And if Phillips wants any chance at moving on, he'll need a DNF by Rich Mixon and a win to somehow tie things up. We've seen crazier, but it's a tall order, so I'm not so sure they're going to be that lucky. We're going to have to find out. Again, take a look at this. H.J. Hollis was so far ahead by the time Spiky broke free, and even then he was in reverse, just creepy, crawling his way to the finish line. Lucky he didn't DNF as well. Race 4 now. Let's see what they got. We have Hollis in the lead with Spiky Phillips, and off the mega ramp they go. Things are looking dicey for Hollis, and a spin around right there by Phillips. He is now staring down the headlamps of Richard Mixon, hoping that he DNFs and hoping he can get by, but it looks like they're in suspended animation here. He can't get by, and the miracle never comes. That seriously had to be so painful. I mean, he was spun around looking right at the driver that he needed to just flip over, go off the track or something, but he just kept on coming and sealed his fate. Now with 12 points a pop, Rich Mixon and HJ Hollis are going to be moving on to the next round. Absolutely bonkers to see them both put on such a show in those first 3 races in order to make that happen. Also, can you see recovery from event 1 for Hollis to go from not even making the cut to tying for first into the next round of this event? That is some serious character development. It's time for the easy 8 led off by her biases, Kerbler-Rooney. In fact, his full name, I asked his mother, so I can guarantee I'm not wrong. He is the top qualifier of this group, so expect great things. Next is Eric Almirola, who did not qualify for event 1. Can he flip the switcheroo like HJ Hollis and make it to the next round? We'll find out. Tim Treadless, hopefully not treadless at all for his sake, and last is Paul Conrev. Hasn't done a lot this tournament, but you never can count him out. I've seen him perform magic on the track before, so it's only a matter of time. All right, their engines are started and they are ready to rev. Right off that mega ramp they go. Eric Almirola in the lead right now, spinning around backwards though, and Paul Conrev with a beautiful pass there. Oh my goodness, look at that. He spins a full 360 off the ramp. That's Eric Almirola and Paul Conrev trying to pass him here, but it looks like their final grouping will be their last for race 1. That race actually ended kind of tame for how it began. Take a look at the replay here off the first ramp. You can already see Eric Almirola is spinning around. Paul Conrev made that first pass, and then look at that, getting bumped through. Paul is fighting dirty. I wonder if he's going to keep up that kind of racing throughout the rest of this group. Nobody wants to see a blowout, so you know what? I am down for those tight groupings. I want to see these guys fighting to the finish line, race after race. Now back to the track we go for race number 2. Look at the power that they went blasting off the mega ramp with, and now Paul Conrev doing jiu-jitsu up front. But Kerbler is able to pass Eric Almirola. Now the only one that stands in his way is Paul Conrev in reverse, and he is gaining on him fast. Oh, and Paul Conrev moves over, but he just can't capitalize right there. He had an opportunity. The lane presented itself, but he could not take it. That is crushing, but it's all right. He took second there, and he's still ahead in the pack with Paul Conrev. All right, now taking a look at the replay, guys, Tim Treadless might actually be treadless with only 2 points right now. He's got to work some serious magic if he wants to bring that back. Paul Conrev moved into first place with that win there. Like I told you, maybe a sleeper, but at the end of the day, Paul Conrev can get it done. Race number 3 now, and they are off the mega ramp. It looks like Tim landed out front. Paul Conrev was half on top of him. Herb took the outside to speed past Conrev on that corner. Tim really needs to take this victory right now because he is in the back of the pack. It looks like Herb is gonna look to make a pass though, and he does. No, Tim let him get by. He needed those points desperately. Let's take a look now at the replay here going off the mega ramp. Again, Paul landing up on Tim. That is wild. It is still anyone's game with the top 3 only being separated by 2 points. We have Paul Conrev and Herb tied up at 10 and Eric Almirola with the 8 points. Anybody could take this one home. Anybody could move on. Race number 4 now. Let's get it. Herb and Tim Treadless are in the front of the pack for this launch. Let's see if Tim can capitalize on that in the run. Here they go off that mega ramp. Herb to an early lead, but it looks like Tim wants to get by, just gets blocked there. Tim Treadless and Eric Almirola are trying to run down Mr. Herb Kerbler. Let's see if they can catch him, and Tim pulls right by, and it looks like Almirola's trying as well, but just doesn't make it happen. Well, this makes things a whole lot more interesting as Paul Conrev is still making his way to the line, but the points are already sealed, and we know what happened. Herb Kerbler and Paul Conrev will be moving forward. Almirola almost had it in race 4 there, just needed to make it past Herb to tie. Maybe next time, bud. Not so lucky. Now, can we just give Tim some kudos where they're due to go from 2 last place races and somehow make it within 1 point of pushing a tiebreaker? That took some grit, regardless of him not making it to the next round. Well, congratulations to our top 2, Paul Conrev and Herb Kerbler.
You will be surprised to notice today that our current last place seed will be present and gunning for semi-final contention. Hello everybody, it is WeRaceDiecast, and before you is the dawn of round 2 of event 2 of the 4-car mega jump here in season 1 of the next gen Piston Cup. Get out your homegrown hubcaps and leaky Sharpies as we head down to the track to meet today's racers and maybe get some autographs. Better form a line though, I'm going first. And remember, round one began with 32 racers, and that's been narrowed to McQueen. Wait, I mean 16. 16 racers are revved up on Zins and caffeine for round two. Did you want a picture with the star racer? It's free, but there's a catch. Drive in reverse down to that subscribe button and collide with it. No cost to you, and it helps us attract the talent we need. Group 1 is out on the gray carpet, posing for the paparazzi. George New Win is up first, looking hot, and hopefully staying hot on the track today. There's our biggest loser, Michael the Chopper Rotor, time to propel out of last place. Next is our McQueen antihero with only 3 unsatisfied points to his name. And we end with a nice set of gritted teeth on Danny Swervez, currently in 7th. All 4 of them snatched and ready in the blocks for race 1. Down they will go to the mega jump. They fly in sync over the gap. Clean landing except for Danny, who almost erupts off the track. Good block there by the Chopos, unfazed by George's attractive figure. I mean, inside line speed, fast into the hairpin. Even the camera here is going to lose track of Michael. But look at this, Danny Swervez at the last second nose block the grab, 2nd place, and our bumblebee-looking friend will settle for 3rd. And I'll tell you what, this may not seem like a big deal right now, this battle for 2nd, but every point counts. Who knows if this will be the difference between Danny dancing to the semifinals or swerving to pick up groceries for his wife on his way home tonight. This group has been exhilarating so far. Diving into race 2, down to the jump again, and I see some wheels off the track. Remember, folks, keep your spoilers and rims inside the railings at all times. Michael is hanging one off the track again, and by one, I mean one rubber wheel. He's now turned reverse and zigzagging, but not fast enough to take the lead from Danny Swervez. Wow. A look at the replay reminds us of the plethora of wheel-hanging action in this race, but it seems like a win of any sort will remain a new concept for George New Win so far today. The back half of Group 1 coming up shortly. Scoreboard shifts around a little with Danny and Michael both tied with 8. On to race 3 as the pressure continues to mount. Down they go. Mega airtime in this jump and some jostling for position as Jackson Storm will get his first look at a lead. Oh, and lightning strikes as he snaps Danny Swervez against a wall and sending him to the back. But even then he breaks away from George. Meanwhile, Jackson blocks the chopper expertly and takes the left lane all the way down to victory. 3 races, 3 different winners. Eyes will be on George New Win to see if he can come up with something here. Let's get another peek at this replay, shall we? And see what really happened to Swervez. Seems like he was sandwiched into the inner railing, turned over, then popped out to the outside. Incredible. Jackson's chances are reinvigorated and the candle is still barely burning for George. Though that wick is looking quite bare, he needs a Danny DNF and a win to save him. The starting positions are switched again for race 4, and now Jackson and George sit at the vanguard. Down they go, and I'm willing that George might pull a rabbit out of his hat, and here by that I mean a win out of his trunk. But he's already slipped down to 3rd through the first turn. Here comes Jackson Storm, and there goes Jackson Storm, pinwheeling and propagating his momentum well away from the boundaries of the track. That will give George one last flickering flame of hope, but that candle is quickly hid under a basket as Danny Swervez and Michael the Chopper Rotor both cross and clinch 1 and 2 spots in this group. Time to rehash the twirling tragedy of Jackson Storm. I can't even count how many spins he endured. What do you guys think? Comment below. Over under 3 spins. Ooh, it's hard to say. Once again, after a calamitous Group 1, both Danny Swervez and Michael Rotor will be moving on to the semifinals. Don't go anywhere fast. Group 2 is coming up. Group 2 is on the scene lightning fast with McQueen ready to rumble. Qualified first for this event. HJ Hollis next up with a very refreshing paint job. Kind of makes me want a Nitro Pepsi. Barry DePedal is 3rd in line and giving a, did you really just ask for a Nitro Pepsi kind of glare? Fair enough. Last there's Cam Spinner, who's definitely about to spin on his ops today. Let's get on to race 1. Here it is at the top. McQueen starting out front. This race will really set the tone for the rest of the event. A relatively clean landing there, and the squad will form up into single file. Small hiccup from Barry, but otherwise a clean race from McQueen, showing off many lengths ahead. Look how far he is from the pack. He runs off camera, and look at this contact with Barry and Hollis, but it will end as it stands. It's a hard one to read this early on, I will say. I did notice Cam Spinner did not have the speed I expected in race 1 and did let himself get nudged about pretty freely. I'm calling sleeper build. He's going to be on go in these next races. Race 2 is going to be up for grabs. Here's Cam in the front on the left. Down they go to that mega jump. Nose down first for Cam Spinner, and the rest of the pack will take a 5-yard penalty as the Spinner breaks away. Next jump is even better. He is on go right now. He is applying major pressure, swerving and serving, riding these ops, and it will be a facile win for Cam Spinner in race 2. Overall scores are going to keep close here. As McQueen pulls up in last, we will have 2 ties on the board right now. Wow, this one is so close. And only 2 races left to decide the advancing automobiles. Man, I could really go for that Nitro Pepsi now, too. Cam Spinner now takes up the close shot here for race 3. Will he start strong a second time? Maybe not. Back wheels hanging off, but he writes himself directly into McQueen's line. Nose block will snag him seconds, but is buried to pedal with the fast brake this time. Here's the second jump, and it's a hit and run, or that's what it looked like. Cam and his goon slammed onto pedal, and he will barely scrape by in third, it looks like. And Hollis, even worse, is in last. Look at the scoreboard. His numbers read 3-2-1. Maybe that's a sign that the 4th race will be go. Still a chance for any car to put their grubby tailpipe on one of the top 2 spots. 4th race on the way here, and this will be for all the marbles. Well, should I say that? I don't mean across the streams of the toy racing world. Could be dangerous. Speaking of dangerous, McQueen is back in the front here and ready to rumble. Keep your eyes on Holly Jolly Hollis, though. I sense some turbo incoming. First jump is a disaster as McQueen has slanted onto a full roadblock. No car gets by. He finally straightens out, and who but Hollis is in second. The gap closes as McQueen and Hollis. It's like the Cars Piston Cup all over again. The cars streak off camera. It's McQueen with the win, but we'll need to see those point totals to establish reality. There you have it. It's McQueen and Cam Spinner to advance. A final look at the replay. What a smart move by McQueen, taking the form of temporary traffic control device to keep the others behind until he could straighten out. And he comes away with the win barely. And he's on the way to the semifinals once again. Last time, moving on to the semifinals, Cam Spinner and the fan-beloved Lightning McQueen. 3. Can it be? Yes, that's Cruz Ramirez herself at the forefront with a big smile and an even bigger Dynaco graphic. Next up is Jonas Carvers with the highest racing number of our 32 competitors, sporting 123. And now for Rich Mixon, if his eyes were narrowed anymore, they'd be closed. Best of luck to the Pink Panther today. Last is Paul Conrev, currently ranked 27th overall. He could really do with a win today. No time to waste. Let's race. Cruz Ramirez on the near side, packed in with the others, down to the jump. The airtime seems haphazard, and Rich Mixon comes down divided by the guardrail. 2 wheels stuck on the outside as he spins to the turn, falling way behind. Cruz Ramirez also grinds the axle with the railing, letting Jonas ahead, and now Jonas hanging 2 on the landing. He rotates through the turn as he has the lead backwards. Cruz dodges to the inside for the pass, but Mixon rams Jonas through the barrels and takes second himself. How about that first race? 6 wheels hung off the track during its duration. A fascinating way to start. Let's see if the racers keep this untamed energy going into the next one. Cruz surely has built up some negative fuel here, though, after that performance. I really am expecting big things come into the later parts of this group. Let's get on to race 2. Let's see how Jonas and Paul Conrev will fare in the front spots. Here they are through the first jump, and ooh, Cruz Ramirez flashing us here with the undercarriage wardrobe fail, but she stays on track, albeit a little embarrassed, I'd imagine. Check that skid from Jonas as he again surfs the side barrow, and he'll do that all the way to the second jump, being straightened out by the Pink Panther. The pair of Valentine-colored cars shift to the right lane. Here comes Cruz capturing the empty space, but she won't succeed. She may have a nice chassis, but here at WeRaceDiecast, that won't sell. Skill before looks here at the Piston Cup. Cruz Ramirez sits with only 3 points after 2 races. Hopefully she can find a way to pull it together and won't turn to only cars for the easy cash. Jonas, however, will talk about an expert noob. He's all over the place, mostly not even on the track, yet he's planted in first place right now. Race 3 incoming, and Rick Mixon will get his first look at the front spot. So far, so mid for this racer, but here he goes through the first jump and gets rattled like a maraca against the track wall. More wheels off the track. He drops to third. Paul Conrev with an early lead. Second jump, and Jonas again losing control. crisscrosses and still manages to keep second. How? Mixon on his tail. Jonas Carver takes the wrist and cuts outside and nicks the back of Paul Conrev, but it looks like Mixon had a power mushroom on reserve and he'll pass 2 cars and take first. Exactly the finish he needed right now. Now for the bad news. With that pitiful slow finish from Cruz Ramirez, she will officially run out of opportunity to advance. Some of the fans are out there heckling. Seems like she's beginning to be called cruise control per this performance. Unbelievable, such fair weather fans. There's a reason you're out in the audience and not on the track. Paul will need to step up here if he wants to grab a top 2 spot. Last race of the group, Mixon and Carvers to maintain, Conrad to overtake, Cruz to, well, cruise to the first jump near side. Look at Rich Mixon, clean landing with a nose block into a full spin. He gets the lead through the turn in the second jump, coming backwards. Look at Cruz, a nosedive, and Mixon breaks away even backwards. Conrad just needs to stay in front of Jonas for the tie, and he does, just missing out on passing Cruz for the overall second spot. There comes Jonas. Someday, slothly pace. What a race, though. We have a tiebreaker, and it will be a good one. What a fight there by Conrad at the end to try and clinch second, but cruise control must have set the dial high in speed for the back straight. Again, Conrad and Carvers are tied for second with 11 points, and it's time for them to duke it out in the tiebreaker. Here we go. Oh, wait, another last look at Jonas crawling to the end here. And slow build up here, easing our way to the top to see 2 engines revving and ready. To the jump they will go. They both bend inwards in the air. Jonas Carvers with the better landing into a nose block and a clean pass. Second jump on the way, and it's actually looking very clean for both of them. They gain speed coming into that and around the turn. Jonas starts to break away like an ice flow from a glacier, and he stays separated to the end. Let's hope he doesn't melt soon. No time to chill though. Race 2 is already starting. The frozen glares in both their eyes tell me that they mean business right now. A clean first jump for both of them. Jonas shivering his way to a slight lead, and he takes it and leaves the track once again. Big breakaway. Jonas Carvers, out of bounds Oracle, ignored the guide rails 3 times and comes away a semi-finalist, really making a name for himself here. And with that kind of unorthodox racing, I mean, what can you say? Victory lap is here, and it's Rich Mixon and Jonas Carvers. Moving on to round 3. Let's meet our final group in round 2. First up is going to be Chase Racelot, who I've heard is a modern descendant of the Royal Racelot family. And then we have Herb Kerbler, who placed 5th in qualifying in this event. Might mean he has the ideal racing lines down. Next we have Rowdy Revan Bush, beautiful Camry. I mean, I almost bought a Camry recently, but when I got to the lot, they told me the car had mysteriously malfunctioned. Might have to blame our last character, Sheldon Shifter. With a name like that, he must be up to some shifty business. Race 1 of the 4 coming here now. Down to the jump. Airtime is looking a little bit shaky. Racelot is going to bounce to a lead. Herb finally gets wheels on the ground and snatches it through the turn. He has room to run. Wait, he's turned sideways after jump 2. What has happened? He went from the hare to the tortoise. Racelot will find the gap here. Rowdy Bush will too, and even Sheldon Shifter passes him by, all in the final straight. A series of unfortunate events for the Herb Kerbler, but let's see what might have happened here. He looks good through this jump. He has a shaky landing but finds his balance. He's going to get the smother here in the turn 1, and well, then it just clips to here, and I don't know, it might stay a mystery. Probably just landed wrong. Other 3 are happy to take advantage of that Dynaco Fast Pass and move up a spot in line. More points for them, right? Race 2. Here we go. Herb has another spot in the front. Graceful flight for him, but not for Rowdy Revan Bush, who's up, bouncing off the walls. Herb leads the pack into the second hill, and he's going to land a length ahead of the Shifty Shifter. Second turn coming clean. He takes the outside line. Sheldon goes on in likeness, and that's how it will end. Herb and Sheldon evening things out after a first tough race. Where is Bush, though? I better check my calendar. He's due for another race this afternoon. Oh, there he is, fashionably late, to say the least. And truly, one of those races where the results were determined by the stratification at the start. Those first moves are so important here at the Mega Jump course. Slow replay of Bush here. Scoreboard is pretty close. We will need to hold our breath for race 3. Herb Kerbler in now the back. First jump is pretty clean overall. Watch the turn, though. Oh, look how Rowdy Bush goes up and over the other cars for a second, falling down to third. Sheldon's got the pace through hill 2, though. Let's see this turn. Herb is now making a move to the outside line. He's going to speed up to the finish, taking 2 in a row after the initial debacle. Replay coming up here. We're also going to see those scoreboards once again, and they remain close. It seems Herb has clinched a top 2 spot, but the fates of the other still hang in the balance. And I'll tell you what, there is a chance for a tie too if both Bush and Racelot complete the cycle with a finish at each position. Race 4 incoming. And look at the starting blocks. Revin Bush and Royal Racelot in the forefront this time. First jump on the way, and first jump done. Look at Herb here trying to shoulder his way through on the far side. Greedy for more wins, no doubt. It does not work, but what does work is Chase, who's bouncing through jump 2 already. He holds the lead. Rowdy needs to strike now. Uh-oh! That's a blunder. He twists into the wall, and Herb needs no invitation. He'll party in second while Chase clinches the other semifinal spot. Man, that's tough right there. Rowdy Revin Bush was working from behind the whole time in that race and just could not find a way to break forward. But that's how the rubber burns in diecast racing. Once again, congratulations to our last 2 semifinalists, Herb Kerbler and Chase Racelot, and congrats. All right, guys, it's time to address the 18-wheeler in the room. What is Cam Spinner doing here other than spinning his wheels? Well, you've heard it all from the WRD community post. Track officials are not perfect. A disappointing reality, but do not worry. With a total of 10 hectic events and a free pass compensation for Chris Roman, the better of the 2 cars will certainly end on top, and not just because of a leaderboard error from our graphics officials either. Hello everybody, it's WeRaceDiecast, and behold, this semi-finals-inator ready to take over the whole tri-auto area. No, but really it's time for the remaining 8 to hit the track again and fight for those 4 final spots. While we prepare, why don't you fight for that first comment, finagle that subscribe button, and even cruise over to the community tab for extra info regarding the scores and the full Cam Spinner Chris Roman story. Group 1 of the semifinals on the screen. Rich Mixon up first, fought hard to get here and contributed to the Cruz Ramirez Cataclysm, who by the way has taken the high road far away from only cars. I look at Herb Kerbler as well, and on to Chase Racelot, who's pulled up nice and snug behind Herb Kerbler, maybe a little too close. Last is Jonas Carver's excellent racing last time, yet barely kept all 4 wheels on the track. Let's jump to race 1. Mixon gets that near side spot. Time to get down to the jump for the first time. Good air time, and we get mooned by the Pink Panther's undercarriage. Gross. He breaks away through the first turn into the lead, to the right, back to the left, and through that second jump, he bounces out of it. Herb Kerbler is twisting sideways. Racelot is backwards, and they collide and travel. Spoiler, spoiler. Uncomfortable contact, and Racelot stays inside to snag second. Oh, wow. Too much lateral movement from the Kerbler right there costed it. That's definitely going to cost speed in the back straight. But I mean, maybe he just didn't want his spoiler getting too close to Racelot's. The racetrack is not really prime time for intimate activities. Last bit of replay shows again Mixon picking up 5 points in first. Up to race 2. It's up for grabs. Time that Jonas Carvers gets a look at the front. There they go down to the jump, and looking pretty clean. Maybe some shifting from Jonas. On the first turn, frenzy, vigorous movement, but it's Jonas streaking in the lead towards the second hill. The jump, oh, look at Herb Kerbler on the near side here. Jonas snaps off the track, tangles up Kerbler. Racelot is sliding sideways, but they all find footing into the back. Oh, Racelot, the powerful push like a snowmobile, clears the way past Jonas and gives Herb no option but first, and he will grab second. Oh my, I mean, how do you even break that down? The replay might help us get a sense. Herb Kerbler now at the top, but not by his own will. Racelot has anything but a timid spirit when it comes to touching Herb Kerbler. 3 sus moments already today, and Herb could do nothing but lay back and take it. He may not get a call back later, but he's going to get first place out of the deal. Did you notice, by the way, Rich Mixon did not actually finish? Track officials have the rulers out a literal millimeter short right there. Unfortunate. Look at that mess once again. Big pile up. Time to keep things moving though. Jonas on the near side this time. Focus on him. He needs to come up with a stunning performance here to keep the dream alive. Oh, what? Look at that chase. Is he secretly a figure skater? Looks like he attempted a triple axel out of the mega jump. Somehow that puts him in first. The second hill is imminent, but it's a bad second jump. Spinning around, he must be dizzy. Jonas hungry for the outside line, but no, he will slide back in and have to settle for second. Incredible acrobatics by Racelot in that one. Another look, we're gonna need it. I mean, man, you just gotta applaud that. Gravity defying. Racelot is certainly deserving of a top 2 spot, and it looks very probable right now. Jonas also keeping himself in the game barely. He and Mixon could use a bullet bill or two in this last race. Race 4 coming up, and this will decide who's going to the finals, who's coming up a millimeter short, and when will Racelot love tap Kerbler again. Racelot and Mixon have the front advantage this time. The jump and a messy landing. Jonas hanging wheels. Chase Racelot is coming away backwards, but he still has first into the second jump. Mixon needs to pass. It's his only hope. Oh, and the turn coming in. A little kiss there through the turn, but not a happy one. Mixon narrows his eyes and Chase darts back and forth and will barely get through the barrels ahead. That will clinch the win for him. And I think he's not so secret pal Herb Kerbler is going to slide in second. And the score will confirm that. Quite close. Rich Mixon was almost there. Imagine if Herb wasn't forced into winning race 2. Might have been Bidening time. Oh, sorry, wrong president. I mean Mixoning time. Unfortunately, we won't see any more of him in this event. But once again, here in the victory lap, Chase Racelot and Herb Kerbler. We know what you're really here for, though, and that is the one and the only Danny Swervez. Ignore that 95 on the side of your screen and give Danny some love. Okay, fine. The great Lightning McQueen is here and threatening to steal the limelight in the finals again. Qualified first in this event and sits overall in third. Ironically, next to him is the current worst racer in the league, 0 points, but at least he gets to stare at McQueen's spoiler. Finally, the controversial cam spinner. Some fans continue to be in shambles about it, but stay strong out there, Cam. Race 1, Group 2. Only 2 spots remaining in the finals. McQueen on the far side, and he'll get his first 2 races in the front. Good movement in the air, and McQueen is quick to dart inside and cut off Swervez. He gains some space through the turn. Danny almost contacts Cam Spinner in the air, but finds a slipstream. Oh, the turn, and Cam loses some control, emerging from the turn, and the back straight is ruined. Opportunity thrown away. Don't let the fans get to you out there, Cam. Check out McQueen in the replay, though. If you can handle yourself, I know he's looking good today, but what was real hot was that early cutoff after the first jump. He had the speed and took advantage of Danny's mediocre landing and pumped into the empty space. That really set the tone for the rest of race 1. What about race 2? Well, it's happening whether you like it or not. If you do like it, then demonstrate your hard attitude in your actions by swervezing your mouse cursor or oily fingertip to the like button. McQueen taking another early lead, this time Cam holding it down in second. They are spaced out over this second hill. Whoa, and check out that backwards jump by Michael Roeder. Maybe a spoil bump there. Other than that, oh wait, a last second pass by Cam Spinner. Yes, maybe. What the heck was McQueen doing? Did he lose a tire? Did he refuse pit stop again? We need this replay. Here it is. A mass groan from the stadium confirms it. McQueen threw an easy victory for seemingly no explainable reason. That's a reason to comment, though. Someone please explain to me what the heck happened there. I bet it had something to do with that spin out through turn 2, maybe. That hurts, man. The playing field has certainly changed and evened out now. No time to dawdle. We have race 3 already starting, and McQueen has only back starting positions in these last races. Lots of wiggling coming here. Good nose block from Cam Spinner. Might get a leg up in the turn. Kinda, but it turns into a full roadblock. He's still got it going into the second jump. McQueen down to last, and Spinner is going to tail backwards into the home stretch. Oh, he's turning around. Bad move. Roeder slams him and finds the outside line. Danny directs him, and Campbell keep him in first. Michael Roeder. So close. But look at these scores. Not so close. Cam Spinner has already guaranteed a spot in the finals, and I think we are about to see 3 race cars turned rabid as they vie for the remaining spot. Did you know, by the way, that the word race car is a palindrome, meaning it's spelled the same forwards and backwards? How about that? Who knew diecast racing could even be educational at times? Big moment here. Race 4. This is it. Who will claim the last spot in the finals? Will Lightning McQueen dig deep and produce speed even the savage speeders will be proud of? Rattle through the... Oh, he got a side! Is that it? No, he rights himself and stays strong. Second jump. It's clean all around. He does need a miracle now, but the supernatural stays silent. Cars are stuck in their positions. Roeder will take the win. Swervez coming right behind, and we will need to see final calculations. And it is going to be Michael Roeder edging out McQueen by 1 measly point. McQueen needed anything but last and could not get the job done. Reminds me, to be honest, more of the Rangers lately. Tough way to go home. Not a simple last race though, but all these cars are hungry hippos when it comes to getting more points for the season. Lightning McQueen will not be able to just coast by for this Piston Cup. If I had to compare Event 2 of the next-gen Piston Cup to making a chocolate ganache, I would most definitely be unsuccessful. Even so, I can say with confidence these finals are comparable to the moment where the butter and chocolate wafers all finish melting and combining into that silky deliciousness. Hello everybody, it's WeRaceDiecast, and on the screen right now are 4 fantastic finalists here to battle it out. This time it will be an 8-lap event and the cars will rotate positions each time. Event 1 standings are visible here. Remember, it was Cruz Ramirez to win the first event. The 40 points for winning are crucial and coveted by all in contention. The distance from first to fourth is a full 10-point difference in the standings. Current standings now, McQueen has managed to grab overall first for now, even with his semifinals loss. Lots to look at here, so feel free to pause the video or check out the community tab if you want to nerd out. Final Event 2 standings will be there as well after this video. Down to the meet and greet. Chase Raceslot first in frame, and hopefully no sus behavior from him today. Next is quite controversial. Alright, sorry for that, but an odd journey it was for Cam Spinner to end up here. Here's Herb Kerbler staring us down. Did you know Kerbler is also the name for a delivery service? Look it up, I swear, only for the Jersey City area. Finally, Michael Roeder, who could use the 40 points more than anyone. Good luck to everybody. Up to the track. Man, how did I get up there so quickly? Race 1 of 8, so a lot of time for shenanigans. First mega jump of the day. Chase already causing chaos there, off the rail and around backwards. The second hill is coming. Here's a super clean jump from the leading Michael Roeder, but Chase is drawn to the rails again, into the back straight. Roeder races away. Chase swerves the kiss spinner, sus already, but slows him down and speeds off for second place. Kerbler's gonna stay calm there for 2 points, and truthfully wasn't too active in that one. Raceslot was very interested in Cam Spinner though. You see that nose to nose at the beginning before turn 1, and then back for round 2 over here. I mean, I don't know what's going through his head necessarily, but whatever works. Good to see Michael Roeder biting early with first. Don't forget his current net worth right now is 0 points. Cam Spinner will have the near spot this time. How will he bounce back from that first race? In the air from the jump, and he lands a little rocky there. Ooh, Herb Kerbler is taking a risk with a full-on roadblock. Wow, Michael is hanging a couple, and Herb completes the 180 and leads out of the second hill backwards. Raceslot rubbing up on Spinner again. Looks like Cam is done with that interaction, but now Chase is touching spoiler with Roeder. Ooh, Cam again last place, losing speed on that inner line just short of the finish. Tough race for Michael right there. Lost any advantages of the initial lead, and you see that unlucky positioning into the second hill. He barely got back on track. Speaking of, who is in the studio making this music track? I am straight vibing over here. On to race 3, Cam Spinner is in some early trouble, and now he's rotated to the back. It's hard for cars starting in the back 2 spots to make headway on this narrow track. It's like being stuck behind a slow walker on a busy street. Never will you hate the back of somebody more. Herb Kerbler flies high and comes down on the rail, bounces and gains control. It's going to be a race to the finish. Kerbler and Roeder off screen, on screen again. Thanks, camera cut, and Herb stacks first. Wait, even closer, Raceslot and Cam. Please tell me Cam wasn't last. The replay. Cam was in the lead, but settled for 1 point again. This is not golf, my friend. Lowest score is not best score. Now that I think about it though, car golf? Maybe event 9 of this 10-event series? Drop ideas for that in the comments. I'm curious how that would work. But Cam Spinner, I believe the first racer to achieve last place thrice in a row in WRD Piston Cup history. Not a desirable award. Race 4. Total scores are now 12, 10, 8, and 3. Some might say at this point Chris Roman should have been here to make it more interesting. Some might say that. Michael Roeder takes an early lead and looks to battle back into first. Where's Herb? I don't know, maybe Jersey City. Roeder lands bad and so does Chase. Here's a chance for Cam. Around the hairpin, Roeder stalls out and Chase or Cam are stopping to watch. What is he trying to nose block the air? Finally, Cam breaks his deplorable losing streak and takes second. At the halfway point now, in this finals, Chase and Herb are now tied with Roeder only 1 point back. Cam Spinner is way behind, but is certainly still in it. He needs a fail on 39th Street and a miracle on 31st. Last look at that Roeder rack, he could have gained a real advantage there. I can feel the excitement revving up as we move to the last 4 races of the event. Who will prevail? Pause and comment now your prediction. Don't skip ahead first. Trust me, I'll know I always know. Good to see Cam back up front for the next two here. Yes, we will continue to follow this underdog. I love a potential comeback. Race Lot, fast as a ferret out of the mega jump. But he flubs the landing. Cam breaks away and chases chastised like a revolving door by Michael. Low jump, and Rotor now tries some spoiler first racing. Control is not great, like a baby car learning to roll for the first time, but the speed is there, and so is Cam Spinner's first win. Now he's really making strides to come back. Check this replay though. Is this a turning point? We have some loosey-goosey movement early on from Michael Rotor. He then passes that on to Chase, who spins twice. All this while Cam breathes some first place air. Sweet and savory like pork fried rice with duck sauce. Man, I could definitely use some of that right now. This next race will be pivotal for Cam, his last time starting out front. 3 races to go, and look how close it is. I have no idea what's going to happen next, and there's not even any plot armor to rely on. No McQueen, no Cruz, just last place, Cam Traversial, Jersey City, and sus Race Lot. Kerbler's got some length right here. Hill 2. Oh, no way, Michael Rotor impales Cam Spinner in the air, and he's gone. Tumble, tumble, he goes, and Rotor doesn't even bat an eye as he flames to the end, picking up major speed here and almost winning in the process. Whoa! Well, there's Chase, by the way. That's not the excitement I was expecting here in race 6. Unbelievable. I wish we could have an extra slow replay on that, but you can see Cam kind of jump down from the first jump and lose some speed, and Rotor on the ascent saw the opportunity and took the risk. That was a hard hit. Cam is going to need Dr. Carr from Mount Tantus and Nurse Hubcap to check in real quick. First DNF of the day, though, and hopefully for everyone, the last. Terrible timing, but Cam needs to eat a med kit and get back here. 2 races to go now, and I know at this point a lot of you are shedding a tear or two for the old Spinner. How will he handle this awful mishap? Rotor out there early. Snappy nose block keeps him up front. Ooh, a huge breakaway here. Kerbler loses some speed in the jump, and Cam's gonna land right on his tail. Through the turn, Michael's off screen. Cam, he's gonna be off his Adderall. Complete loss of focus there, swerving randomly and dropping to last, and I can say now his journey for first ends here. And with the scoreboard up, it is clear Cam Spinner will end this event in 4th place, but still with a strong 30 points. Listen up quickly now. Rotor is in first, a win seals it for him. But if Kerbler wins, he's got it. But if Chase Race Lot wins, Rotor loses, Herb takes third, and Cam second, then Chase has a shot in a 3-way tie battle. So many possibilities, so little racing, but I'm ready for it. All right, it's time. The final race of event 2. Will it be Rotor? Will it be Race Lot? Will it be Kerbler? It will not be Spinner. Down to the mega jump for the last time. Chase and Michael have the advantage. They land clean. Kerbler does not. He dives in front of Spinner and just straightens out. Single file now. Rotor's gonna jump first. Race Lot collision. Rotor helicopters. He's backwards. Another nudge from Chase. It's nose to nose. Chase skids. Rotor speeds off. Kerbler passes. Scam Spinner passes. And Michael Rotor will cross gleefully as your event 2 champion. Unthinkable. What a rags to riches story. And hopefully he doesn't return to rags in event 3. He'll be awarded the full 40 points, and fan interest will certainly be increasing for this guy going forward. What a wild last race 2. The air nudge, the recovery, the very sus skid that obliterated Chase. It all reminds me of a good chocolate ganache. Kinda. Not really. Anyways, what's next for you? Well, check out the updated scores in the community tab. Probably subscribe. Come on, right? Why not? And heat up some excitement right now in anticipation of event 3.